That doesn't look like Star-Lord at all.
I feel really sorry for the kid.
So, doesn't fucking look him at all.
This would be I have no idea how long this goes on for.
Looks like Jay Bowman.
They look like...
No,
That's the Captain America toy. Wait, is that?
Oh yeah, that's
Black Panther.
What is? That's got to be from something. I don't
Oh
know.
god,
What
that
it
is Black Panther.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
Black Panther.
It's Black Panther. Look at him with the ears and the nose.
But he's purple.
He's
No,
Black
Show you in a
Panther.
blink of an eye.
With the ears. That was a Black Panther
He's
ears.
off Black Panther.
That is canon Black Panther.
He's Black Panther with
You know what?
chemo. That's why he's hairless.
If that's the comic book Black Panther, I can get why people were annoyed
Yeah,
with the
that's-
adaptation.
Yeah, this is the.
Oh, people are saying
Chris
Anubis.
Nolan
Is it
Black
Anubis?
Panther.
Is that what is
No,
it
it's Black
from?
Panther.
I've not seen Dragon Ball.
Oh,
or
it's
whatever,
Dragon
so-
Ball. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Dragon
just
Ball
from
have
Dragon
to
Ball,
do
but I
What
don't
does
know.
Dragon Ball
I
have
don't
to
know
do
the
with Black
characters.
Panther?
It's. Did you not watch the film? Dragon Ball is in Black Panther.
Oh.
Yeah, there are magic balls in Black Panther that do anything you need them to.
Oh no, we don't need to do this for this bit.
Or your mitten will do it first. Oh
Oh my
what?
god, it's blackface! Oh my
Oh,
god!
What? Wait, that looks like Saitama. Did he die?
It's
Did
Black
he die
Panther!
One Punch Man? You look like
He
he
died
died One
One
Punch
Punch
Man.
There's 3 Black Panthers in this already.
Sick burn.
I am really trying to compose myself right now.
I don't want to skip in case we jump over something that like context.
I don't want to skip, but an argument could
Hey
be
man,
made.
everybody's made some cringy skits in their life, right? Except me because I made a thing to never make skits. It's like never skip.
No, this is fantastic. I'm enjoying it. It's funny.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm fine with it. I just
I'm
don't know
laughing
what
more
the
this
point
than I did
is.
the film, so he's already won.
that's true. I find this more entertaining than the movie. Someone said kick V.
Yep.
No, we.
Contrary to V's not currently here, but
By the public, of course. The real Jurassic Park fans didn't hate them.
I was watching Jurassic World and I said, Sargon, what are you doing?
if anyone doesn't know V, this just won't work as a joke. But hey, it's
my god. Oh my god.
He needs subtitles.
subtitles. The Jurassic Park died.
Well, hey, speaking of rat feces, do you want to talk more about Jurassic World? Boy, do I ever.
This is so beyond stupid. F you, film. F you for not having any faith in your audience's brains. You
Hey, it's me.
couldn't even try to write something better than that.
You cannot tell me that this is a good movie. You can't. You can't. I'm not even a third of the way finished with the damn plot yet, and we're at the point where I was ready to walk out of the theater. This movie was dreadful. Surely you must have seen the same movie.
Did I miss a meeting or something? Did the entire world wake up one day and decide, okay, let's say Jurassic World?
Well, the day it
Yes.
released, yeah.
It's a,
I mean, yeah, kind
a
of.
conspiracy.
We held a meeting.
I like that. It's like, did I wake up one day? It's like, well, it was a specific day, the release
Yeah,
day.
specifically the day it was released to the public in theaters.
It's not like it was a beloved movie and then suddenly everyone hated it. This isn't.
Yeah, 100% critics unanimously loved it, and then one day I woke up and they
What?
all fucking hated it.
Let me actually check. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
look at a
Let's just
50
go
something.
Rotten Tomatoes for a little
53
aggregate here.
maybe?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like on the tomato meter, the average review score from critics is at 48%. The average rating is a 5.5
Ooh.
out of 10. And the audience score is 51% liked it.
Ooh.
So it's still better than The Last Jedi. That's how we're.
Which is still better than The Last Jedi.
It's above that, so hey, you got that.
The amount of vicious attacks this movie has received, it's unspeakably idiotic.
Hmm?
We have those who try to sound smart thinking they know what they're talking about.
How do you expect us to care when the premises of these...
Oh.
People who sound smart, I kind of agree.
Oh,
Alright,
that's-
Shinobi, we might not disagree with this one, in fairness.
I agree. He tries to sound smart. Maybe he fucked up and is right. So yeah.
movies are built on such stupid ideas.
It's quite clearly cherry picking from the fact that the sentence he's taken from your analysis begins with the word "also," which would suggest to me that you've got some previous.
Well, this is the interesting part. I put a comment there, and he said when he saw my video, that's not what he heard. He did. That's not. When he watched it, he thought that's what I was saying. He didn't realize.
Fuck knows what this guy's hearing.
But it's like when you start to send it like a clip off when you start a clip off where it says like, in addition to those 17 other reasons, I don't like its face.
And so I was like,
you're just nitpicking.
And so for someone being like, all these people are idiotically hate, I was like, that's not a good start, mate. Like the first thing you do is take me out of context. Like, come on.
It's like I'm the only one in the world who really liked Fallen Kingdom. It's absurd.
No, lots of people
It's
liked
what?
it. It's okay. He said it's absurd.
He might be. He might be.
It's Asper's.
No, he said absurd. It's no straw man.
Remember when Gravity came out and there was a bunch of like people talking about, here's how space works. Now that everybody's interested in space and gravity and orbiting and satellites, now's a good chance to teach people about it because it's currently kind of topical. You're doing that with Jurassic World now.
I thought you were saying like when the law of gravity came out, as if we were all
Yeah,
floating around.
I'm so glad that they invented it. I didn't know how to get to work before then.
Oh man, it was
like John Gravity made it. Like fucking hell, thanks.
Do you guys remember Gravity, like version 1? It was just a fucking nightmare.
Everything stuck to the ground.
People were like clipping through walls, like things were multiplying. It was just a fucking mess.
That thing needed a beta.
Yeah, nobody can fly anymore. It's bullshit.
But Rax, please confirm this. Did it run better than Fallout 76?
It did.
Like if Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince was my first Harry Potter movie and complained that none of the characters wear witch hats.
Yeah, no, that's a fair criticism. They should be wearing. Some of them wear witch hats, right?
They do. Yeah, but it's formal wear for Harry Potter. I don't want to talk about Harry Potter. Fuck off.
Yeah, that's kind of stereotypical for wizards, you bigot.
Also, I think that's a bit weird considering it's like citing genuine history from fossils versus the accuracy of wizards and witches. Like, whoa, what?
But then also you're talking about something that was a choice of the characters in the movie and something that wasn't.
It's clothing. It's not biology.
Listen, don't you hate it when you see a Mexican character in a film and they're not wearing a sombrero?
That is so inaccurate.
Doesn't that piss you off? Totally inaccurate. Absolutely ridiculous. I saw an Irish guy in a show once and he was sober. Absolutely ridiculous. Inaccurate.
I mean, your complaint actually has more precedent because this is literally a choice of clothing. That's not.
Oh.
That's weird. It would be.
Yeah, it's not O'Malley's fault. He's an alcoholic. He didn't choose that.
He didn't choose it.
He was born that way.
I really hope he's got better stuff to argue with. This is.
Yeah, I think we get into the good stuff. That's my assumption. Patrick Willems said the only people he likes are traditional reviewers. That's some
extra level gatekeeping. That's fucking.
Yeah, to give you a bit more of a laugh, do you know who he cited as an example of a YouTube one?
It's Mark Brown, wasn't it?
Movie Bob.
Oh, fuck off.
Fuck off.
Yeah, he did do that, didn't he?
I thought it was going to be like some pretension behind it, not a fucking like joke.
To make all space scenes to be dead silence like this.
That's not dead silence. You can hear shit. You don't even know what
not
dead
only that,
silence is.
but is he actually advocating that silence in space is bad? Because there's so many space movies that do it, and it's awesome. Just said Intelligence.
That guy back there seems really out of place.
Yeah, he's the one who tags along like, "Can I come, guys?"
He's the male feminist ally. He's looking for his moment to strike.
Oh, the male feminist ally. That's like the best superhero name.
I'm just saying one of those gals is getting raped, is all I'm saying.
This movie sucks. It's too long, there's no action, I simply do not care what the characters are doing. Everyone in the show is replaceable. We don't watch home videos with Mom anymore.
Oh, we can place that with you.
Mom,
oh, they made her a drunk. They made her a drunk.
Remember what Dad said. The
doctor dehumanizer.
Wow, because she didn't like the film, you can't watch it with her anymore. That's the exact same thing in reverse. You're like, you don't let people with opinions that are different than yours.
So Shinobi here is that dude looking quite upset, and we are all the alcoholic mother.
I think us four are the alcoholic mum, and this guy is these two.
Mom's got some big tits.
Thinking about it, this is just a comic about a troubled mother who needs help.
Yeah, really. This is about familial strife and that kind of
stuff. This has nothing to do with dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'm really struggling to find the connection between this The
Yeah, this
dinosaur.
is
It's
mother
just a little
calling her
dinosaur in the
children.
background, and it's like, there you go.
Yeah, that's rough.
I hope
My
it gets to
mom
someone
said that
like
The
me.
punchline is that she's actually going through a lot of strife, and that we need to be very serious with
The
this. business.
punchline is that dad's gonna punch her.
What's
Yeah,
going
people-
on? I thought everybody loved Jurassic Park.
Racist.
Hey, I was just doing an impression. I don't know what race this
It
guy
sounds-
is.
Haven't you
It sound like
heard?
him.
You're not allowed to do that now. Apu is the petitioning Apu to be removed from Simpsons for that.
This is the kind of dumbassery you'd expect from someone who has literal Down syndrome.
So these filmmakers that call him clever, though. He's very meta. He's very clever.
He's very clever. He's a very, very smart man.
Look,
So they do
Uh,
have the right to say whatever they want about anybody.
that literally make like a 1-minute video and then go, okay guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And then on top of that, and they do like flashy editing and they go, smash that fucking bell. And you're like, what's going on?
No,
Like, what?
the one that always gets me is like, you have to assume that the people who you want to subscribe and like are people who don't know your content yet, and so they're newcomers, right?
Hmm.
And generally, people ask people to subscribe and like the video at the beginning of the video, and it's like, I haven't even fucking seen this thing yet. Why would I like it now?
What if you say this movie sucks? Then congratulations! The crab is pulled! I know your money!
Okay, I have to say, you've not shown enough yet to have this reaction.
You haven't earned this. I'm just saying you haven't earned this.
If you'd
And
showed loads of clips of people saying, like, it's the worst, if you don't agree, you're terrible, this would be warranted. But, like, you've just showed people an
Yeah.
article that said the dinosaur was inaccurate, and Wolf
Yeah,
saying
but
you're a dumbass if you wrote this.
earlier on, he said the volume levels have been adjusted for my ear's comfort, and I don't believe you.
A few people said they didn't like the film and it was shit, and outrage.
Audio taken from domestic disturbance at laundromat.
The current style of internet reviews
What style?
needs to stop.
Needs to stop. Alright, I'm willing. I'm ready and willing. What's the argument?
What is up, Ninja?
What the fuck just happened?
I guess
the
that's
hell?
Sorry, that was me.
That's
I
a new
misclicked.
video. Project Zorgo took a
What
genuine
is
car
up,
at safe
ninjas?
house.
Sorry.
What is up,
Sorry.
ninjas? Wait, that makes sense because
I don't know how to fix it, I'm sorry.
It's okay,
That's
we're
fine.
back.
We're good.
Sorry.
We're good.
Poor
Fucking
Alex.
hell.
Sending us to Ninjaland. What is he saying? Punching down at a company? I'm pretty sure the company
Yeah,
will
really.
be fine.
It's like I'm a dog in a room.
How
Fuck
dare you
you.
come after this company, Rags? I'm just picturing like a little cartoon dog going "Rawr, rawr," at a giant building. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to beat you up.
I just go to the flower bed and piss on it.
Dinosaurs became gay as a result of the frog DNA? Yes, that's very true. He did a Reddit AMA, and just as that, he was like, I am the kid in Revenge of the Sith that says, you know, Master Skywalker. And people were like, oh, did you get bullied for it? And he was like, well, yeah, fucking his friends would just randomly be like, oh, there's a giant queue. What are we going to do? And what I'm saying, I guess, is that, you know, I'm sure he took that well, and he was just like, oh, this is some goofy shit.
I think
but,
you got it. You got it when you do turn into Jake Lloyd.
But then you get people who maybe made some really cruel jokes a lot, and maybe some careers were ruined, and it's just like, yeah, what are you saying? That having negative criticism is the cause? It's like, there's a difference. There's a line that gets crossed. There's a difference between me saying Ryan Johnson fucked up The Last Jedi and me going to his house and trying to axe murder him. Like,
Ryan.
a step gets
Ryan.
taken.
I know where you live, Ryan.
And to bring back that
do that.
analogy, if a carpenter told me I had a shitty chair because it couldn't even stand straight and you can't sit on it, I'm not supposed to go, well, your negative criticism needs to stop because I'm going to leave Instagram because he said my chair was bad. You know, there's a difference. But if he actually tried to murder me because of the chair, again, different.
If a company like EA goes out of their way to use the game to
Fuck me, Alex. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Michael McIntyre. Wait,
What
no.
is up, ninjas? What if there's a year where there's a lot of bad movies?
Oh, like
Like this
2018?
That's like most years.
He's like, you shouldn't go see it if you think it's going to be bad. It's like, well, what if it surprises me? We wouldn't have seen
Yeah,
Spider-Man
so-
Homecoming if we were going by that logic.
So we have to
Yeah.
be consistent. You shouldn't go in if you think it's going to be good either.
Yeah, because that's not neutral.
Yeah, it's not neutral.
Ugh.
You should
A
only go and
bias
see
works both
films that you
ways.
don't know about. You've got no clue what they're about.
You show up at the theater, you close your eyes and say, "Give me a ticket to a movie, please." Any the next ticket, just give me. I'll have whatever the person before me had.
You're like, sir, this is a McDonald's. And you're like, don't Complain. Give me the ticket.
And in that case, supersize it.
I can't listen to you. You're gonna make me non-neutral.
The most inconsistent for just episode 9.
I want Phasma to show up in the end post credits. That's what I want.
Dexter Jetster. Oh, you know what?
Like the Resistance leader.
Let's do it this way. So you got, like you said, Kylo, Poe, Rose, Finn, and Rey. So knock out Kylo. Who is the most inconsistent out of those 4? What's your bet?
All right, because I think it's pretty universal that Kylo would probably be the most inconsistent.
Nothing will make sense.
So, the most inconsistent with their previous behavior.
Yeah, let's say if considering the previous 2 films as well. This is actually an interesting conversation to me. I'm like I'm trying to figure out who it would be.
Basically,
Hux is another one.
Well, no. Remember, because Hux is basically 2 completely different characters between JJ's and
It depends on which one they choose.
So it's like a 50-50. And JJ's directing it, and his Hux was different than Ryan's Hux.
Oh yeah, is he the vindictive? Is he the vindictive like little brother character, or is he the fucking complete pushover weird?
Comic relief character.
Comic relief character.
Yeah, is he an evil but competent, ruthless general, or is he just a slapstick comedy for other people to
getting thrown around the fucking command?
I might actually go with Hux, unironically.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna have to sell. I'm gonna go with just Kylo.
We're back to Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen.
You can't go Kylo.
Kylo's Star Wars.
Kylo's disqualified. You're not allowed Kylo.
Fine.
Kylo's a certain
Poe.
Yeah, okay. So we got me and Ash are on Finn, Alex is on Poe, Rags is on Hux.
And no. Wolf is emo Hitler, as I regularly see him referred to.
We need to remember this because it's a year from now.
Yeah,
Did Jenna just make a joke about it? She said, "Can I vote for Leia being non-consistent because she's normally alive?" Would you be
inconsistent with the?
Just picturing that guy from Futurama, you walk in and just like, what do you think this movie's going to be like? And he's like, I have no opinions, left or right, up or down. And you're like, oh, do you like Star Wars? Possibly. Star Wars is acceptable. Okay.
Star Wars is a franchise. I have nothing else to say.
I would like to consume energy.
This is a film, in my opinion.
Oh.
So anyway, do you guys do you want to come back to this this video?
back to Shinobi 03.
I think his proof here was just that if you love science fiction and you hate rom-coms, then you're going to judge them differently, and it's like, yes.
Yeah, that's just truth. That's just a truth. What?
Like water is wet, oxygen's particles. Yes. Water is not wet; it makes things wet. Is that? I've heard that from a couple of people. Is that typically accepted?
Yeah, water isn't wet.
I get because the water. What comprises water is usually a
water
body.
Water makes things wet. Water is not wet.
Is that true?
It is true,
water is typically wet because it's surrounded by other particles of water.
The item that becomes wet.
No, because the water is not making the other water around it wet.
If someone splashes you with just water and it makes you wet, then it was wet to begin with because it's providing wet onto other things.
We need Fun as a guest now.
If someone splashes, because you'll fucking talk about Brexers, I'm sure. but if someone splashes you with water, the water makes you wet.
But the water wasn't dry.
A water cannot be dry or wet.
But would you agree that as a state, everything is either dry, wet, or somewhere in between?
It has to be either. It's either dry or wet.
So water isn't dry, therefore it's wet?
No, it's neither.
It's neither?
It's neither.
It's not even possible.
What do I feel like they should be discussing like in a white room somewhere?
I mean, this happens on EFAP all the time. It's when the video has basically lost any connection to all of us. We just floated away in some ridiculous conversation.
So when it rains and people say it's wet outside, they're lying. Because it can only be wet once you go out there.
No, that's not correct.
I'm reading chat's responses.
The things out there get wet.
Yes, everything out there is wet because the water is on them.
And you'll get wet if you step outside.
No, I get it.
Yeah, that's...
The wetness doesn't exist without the object because the water is just water.
Yeah, exactly. It's wet, dry, or water.
Yeah,
what I would need for conclusion...
Water can't wet itself.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things that you don't normally think about.
What if there's ice? What if there's a piece of ice and it has water in it?
Ice can make
No,
things
you take
wet.
the fucking ice and you fucking throw it out.
Perhaps
No.
the greatest EFAP in history.
Well, ice and water are different things.
Is fire hot?
Well, they're the same thing. They're just in different states.
Is fire hot, or
Exactly,
does
so they're
fire
not
make
the
things
same.
hot?
So ice is just hard water. So if
The fact you have to qualify a different shows that they're different things.
yeah, sure. But
Yes.
so is
Yeah, there you
ice
go.
that's wet? Fuck.
Wait. Is
my
ice
brain.
Rags? Is
Ice-
fire hot, or does it make things hot?
Fire is hot
Huh?
because
Hmm.
heat and wetness don't
It's
measure the same
transferred.
thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. You can measure heat by the speed of the particle in something. Plus fire is
Yeah.
plasma.
I want a physics teacher.
Yeah, so,
This is
so,
like
so anyway, Jurassic World.
water is
Wet
wet.
is wet means covered or saturated with water or another liquid.
But typically, water particles will be surrounded by water particles.
Yes, but they're not wet because of the water particles.
But you just said surrounded by water.
What if you mix
Or-
water with another liquid? Does that other liquid become wetter by the water being on it?
Other liquids besides water can make things wet.
So what?
However, mercury is typically a liquid, but it does not make things wet.
No, we're not bringing. No, we're not.
Yeah,
we're
but
not talking about
mercury
any
doesn't.
chemical.
It like bounces off shit, doesn't it?
No. Somebody find the play button. Where is it?
You've made me interested in this.
No.
Genuinely, because I use it as a logical sort of counter. Water is wet, and if I'm wrong, I'd rather not use it. Like
Yeah.
the sky is blue. It's typically used.
I would not say that water is wet. I would say the sky is blue though, because technically color doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's opening up its own can of worms.
Yeah, you show me right up your ass back up there, please.
But yeah, covered or saturated with water. Surely water counts as being saturated and covered in water, because it is.
No, water's not wet.
Well, too bad. Definitions disagree with you.
What is it that makes the sky blue though? The way light refracts through.
It's
the
our
ozone
our
layer, or-
perception of the way that light is refracted.
So it's in our minds and not actually up in the.
Correct.
So it's
essentially,
our opinion.
essentially, color is a mutually understood phenomenon.
It is
Yeah.
subjective.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Rags. Covered or saturated with water. That's the definition. Water is covered in water, typically. If you have a glass of water, it's covered in water.
But one particle of water does not change any property of the other piece of water.
It doesn't matter. The definition is covered in water.
Yeah,
Da- da-
each
da-
one
da- da- da.
particle.
Water
Each one
isn't wet
particle in
because
that
it is
glass
a
of
liquid
water
that
is surrounded by
things.
water.
Once you come into contact with water, you become wet. Until then, water is liquid and you're dry.
You're drunk. I submit that a particle of water surrounded by other particles of water therefore makes it wet.
Yes, because wetness is the ability of a liquid to adhere to the surface of a solid. So when we say that something is wet, we mean that the liquid is sticking to the surface of the material.
So we agree.
We agree to disagree.
No, I'm on board with this.
I
I'm just
will.
trying to get
I
my head
will
around
move
it.
on with saying water is wet as a.
Water is not wet.
According to Google definitions, it is.
Google definitions you should not use as a
You use it all the time.
Sometimes, but not
when,
for every.
well, when they
definition.
agree with you, is that what you're saying?
No, not necessarily. No, not necessarily. It depends on what it is, because Google normally gives you colloquial definitions. It depends on how
Yeah.
technical you want to get.
Well, okay. What if I go with Oxford?
All right.
You
I
okay
would
with
have to. I don't know what the Oxford one would be.
Give me a moment.
Oh no.
Because what's strange is that if you type in Oxford Dictionary, it autofills the first thing is Oxford Dictionary wet.
Oxford Dictionary: wet adjective, covered or saturated with water. So
How
I
much
guess Google
percent-
grabbed it from Oxford.
When it's covered, how much does it have to be covered to be considered covered? Like 70, 80%?
I mean, yeah, a
No,
desert
it's
could have a
just a
droplet
single-
of water on it. Doesn't mean the desert's
Single
dry or wet.
particle- Single particle.
This
of
is
water.
where Rags
It
and
is-
Paul's
no,
friendship
it's
ends.
dry. It's dry because it doesn't have wetness.
I mean,
right.
I'm okay with the desert one because you could just argue from a sense of like
Yeah, it's
More than-
free of
more than-
moisture or liquid. It's not wet or moist. It's,
more than 50% is dry, then it's typically dry. Oof, this is getting into like philosophical levels.
It's relative to what it normally would be.
The word saturated would suggest that it'd be more than half, more than 50%.
That's true, and covered as well. You wouldn't be covered in water if it was a droplet. on a desert, would it?
I am getting really hungry. Just talking about this.
So wait. So just to clarify, Rags, you agree with the Oxford definition then?
I agree with the. Well, here, let me go back to what it was.
It's okay to agree. Neither of you are going to be wrong. Just go with it.
Why? But I want to say it in future.
I hold to the idea that wetness is a property that is given to things by water or other liquids.
Hashtag
the liquids
team
themselves do not possess that wetness.
This is going to be on Twitter tomorrow as a controversy. You know that.
I was going to say, but Rags, your definition would leave you open to the consistency of what a liquid is halfway becoming a solid. At what point is it allowed to become wet?
Only the parts that are only
bullshit. That doesn't make sense.
The liquids would make the solid parts wet.
That's
why you can look at two pieces of ice, and one is mid melt, and the other one is solid completely.
What I'm saying is you've drawn a line that a solid can get wet, but a wet can't get wet. That means there's a point of change.
No. It's not that a wet can get wet. That's kind of no. It's not that a wet can get wet. Wetness is a property that's applied.
Can a
to
liquid
things.
get wet?
But you need to get into the quantum physics side
true.
of that argument and say it is both wet and unwet at the same time in many different dimensions.
You can't.
Someone DDoS YouTube.
No, you can't wet. You can't be wet and unwet at the same time.
Wait, can you wet a liquid?
Now, an
How do
object.
you know whether something's wet or not until you observe it? And by observing it, are you making it?
No, I don't think that observing something makes it wet. Because something can be wet that's not observed.
But you
Even Jenna wants to play it, please.
Last question: can a liquid be wet? Is it possible?
Can a liquid be wet?
Yes.
No.
No. What do you mean, no?
We'll have to schedule a full EFAP debate for whether water is truly wet. Back to discussing whether or not someone knows whether or not a plot hole is a thing. Wet, consisting of or containing, covered with, or soaked with liquid such as water is wet. Move on.
How can you let your opinion of something be affected by everyone else's opinion of it? That doesn't make any. Do you know what I mean?
Someone in chat asked if rhino milk was wet.
By the way, yeah, we brought this up with, I can't remember what EFAP it was, but someone was getting pedantic about some film that we were covering. I was like, you'll never be able to out-pedant the EFAP podcast. We will go to the extreme lengths to discuss anything. Next time we'll discuss whether poop is considered a solid or liquid and at what point it changes depending on consistency.
Depends on the diet, honestly.
And can poop be wet?
Poop. I can guarantee you that poop can be wet.
God, this poor guy's video. If he watches this video, he's gonna be like, "Why were they talking about water?" And
I hate CinemaSins, by the way. Even more so than.
Wow, it sounds like you're biased towards his videos and that you're unable to neutrally judge them.
Doesn't sound very neutral to me.
This video is just crumbling under itself.
The dumbass critic and his awful channel. I hate them so much that I feel dirty just mentioning them.
Dude. After all the shit you just threw at fucking Wolf for referring to the nebulous writers, as in he doesn't actually have a name, and you're going after an actual guy here.
Be neutral, but at the same time say like that you feel dirty talking about them. That's being neutral, isn't it?
So say, be neutral and don't bully individuals because of their work. And what does he do? Goes straight in and does the exact fucking opposite of both of those things.
Maybe I'm biased.
Okay.
Sounds like a freaking
I could tell that the chair or someone blew their nose.